Welcome to Unhinged Magi! Oh man, we're going to be talking about things that inflate like Dig Dug.
Yeah, that was a great game. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like pumping up like those little ball guys and then the dragons and stuff like that.
Yeah. Boom, they
Yeah.
pop. Man.
Those were the days. Exploding things on a
Video
digital
games
screen.
today suck.
Because they don't blow things up in the same way. Kirby brought
right.
that back a little bit.
He did. Kirby did bring that back a little bit, didn't he?
So you know what also inflates?
Money.
Yep.
Money gets inflated. It's crazy. You know how you keep inflating money? You keep printing it.
Which is what they're doing right now.
Yes, and
a lot of it.
And we've talked about that before, you know, that they're still printing money.
Mm-hmm.
The burr machine goes and keeps doing it.
Yep, money machine goes burr. You know, the thing is, though, that and the point of this video, the reason why we wanted to talk about it, is inflation doesn't always work the way people would expect it to work. I know, crazy, right? Everybody thinks like inflation, like when you first hear about it and you kind of get the concept of it, you feel like everything's kind of go up in tandem, in unison. But it actually doesn't work like that. Inflation hits different markets and different pockets of things at different times, and it causes these really weird distortions.
Exactly. You have some, like milk, 3%, meat, 8%.
Yep.
Why? Usually just transportation and how it gets to you. Gasoline prices go up, food prices go up. Wait, what? Why would food prices go up if gasoline prices go up? Truckers got to move it.
And there can be people that are caught in really bad situations. Like there's a lot of business owners out there that are having to hire workers to do their business, but the workers don't want to work because the old amount of money per hour that they would make just isn't quite worth it to them, especially today with all like, you know, the government assistance that's out there that's happening. So they can't hire people to do the jobs because they can't pay them more, but they could pay them more if they could actually raise the price of their service. So if there's
I don't want to pay what they want me to pay.
Exactly.
Because they raise their price, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, and so what you have is these employers are stuck in the middle where they can't charge more money for their service, but the people that are working for them are expecting to be paid more money. And so effectively, there are times where a business like that can just go out of business. And it's not that the business was bad. It's not that the plan was bad. It's not that eventually it would be a good plan again. It's that inflation creates this distorted environment that sometimes can make it very hard to survive.
And you can notice that with some people changing their food designs, like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A has changed some of their menu items, where you get like maybe one less nugget or a little less in ounces of fries. You won't notice it because it's just a little less, but the savings for them are huge.
Yep. And so the point of the video is we want our audience, we want the people watching our channel to think along these lines and to be watching for it, because we are entering an inflationary type environment. The damage has already been done. Central banks and governments have already created insane amounts of money, and they've shoved it into the banking system and into the economy. And that money, when it trickles down, it doesn't come in evenly. It's going to create distortions, and those are going to last for a while, right?
But the good news is minimum wage is going to go up.
Oh, for sure it will.
Yeah, it has no choice.
Yeah, they've literally got no choice. They're going to have to pay people more, even if they didn't want to now.
Exactly.
I mean, people are not going to work.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't have a choice.
But what that might do in the short term is it might take some things that used to be profitable businesses, and it might shove them right out of being a possible business that you can even have in the United States.
That is true. But, you know, that's what happens. I mean, what are you going to do?
You just put up with it.
Yeah, people have to accept the new price or not accept the new price. If they don't accept the new price, then that business is gone.
So this is an interesting topic because I also think that this does apply to collectibles.
It does.
Like Magic the Gathering and other things.
It
right?
does.
Like you might have, I'm sure anyone who's watching our channel probably knows that about some of the insane prices that some of these older cards have been going for.
Of course. Yes, they have. And
well,
it is pretty crazy even to me.
Let me put a theory out there. Most people have heard the theory already that it takes money to make money. Well, there's some truth to it because like a lot of the assets that have been inflating in price are the things that are like investable assets, like stocks, real estate, high-end collectibles, things like that have been basically going up in price. Well, if you're a person that doesn't have a lot of money to invest, you didn't have any of these assets that went up in price. So the people that had the assets got a lot of like increased wealth, but the people that didn't have any of the assets didn't. Now the people that had that increased wealth, and this is where the theory I'm saying comes in, what were they actually looking for? And I think that a lot of the people that have gained a lot of like wealth in this inflationary time, they've been the first recipients. I think those are the people that have been going out and buying like reserve list cards, very high-end graded magic, very high-end graded artwork, large amounts of cryptocurrency. Those are the people that have been buying those kinds of assets.
And the reason they're buying that is to maintain the value of their dollar. If you buy anything that is worth anything, it doesn't matter what it really is. As long as it has a value dollar worth current, it will retain that value during any kind of inflation. It's because the value of that dollar will increase, but the value of the item remains constant because it's based on demand.
Yep, but it's an interesting point that if you let's just give simple numbers to it to just make the point obvious. Say you've got one type of card that only had 1,000 copies of it that were ever printed. And you have another card over here that had like 10 million copies of it printed. Now, if there is an average like 10% inflation rate that goes across the entire economy, you're not going to see 10% reflected on this high-end card and these like really like 10 million copies of low-end cards. They're going to receive that differently. What we're seeing so far is that high-end card that maybe was like $50,000 all of a sudden goes to like $200,000. It gets a massive increase in price. And these other ones, the smaller ones down here, if they were like a 10-cent card, maybe they go to like 12 cents. Or maybe they just don't even hardly move yet because almost none of that money is going into those cards yet.
That is true.
And that's the point. That's the idea that we're trying to get across is in inflationary times, not all assets go up at the same time at the same rate.
That's true. But I don't think the inflationary hands were actually buying that. I think that was more of a crypto dump. I've sold my crypto. I make a profit. I want to buy an expensive thing that'll hold the dollar.
But where did that crypto profit come from? If the crypto was a beneficiary of inflationary times,
yeah, that was
then the crypto goes up, and then the crypto assets come out and go into another market.
True.
That's how inflation works.
And that's why crypto's tanking like a rock.
Yeah, probably.
Because everyone's dumping.
Yeah, because Elon Musk has had some pretty negative comments about it. So anyways, like that's kind of the idea. That little discussion that we just had, that's the kind of thing that happens, you guys. It's not like any central bank came out there and said, hey, we're going to give a ton of money to people that want to buy magic cards. No. It goes into some assets, and some of those assets go up in value. Then those people buy crypto. Then crypto goes up, and those people take that money, and then they go buy magic cards, and magic cards go up in value. It kind of like...
Yeah, because a lot of people wanted to make investments, and what they heard on the news. What did they hear on the news? Bitcoin. Blah, 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 blah. Bitcoin. And so what they did was they went with their little checks that they got from the government and went and bought a little bit of Bitcoin. But if you have a whole bunch of little bitty buyers, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and then that was going, I think the itty bitty buyers for Bitcoin is what lifted it up from where it was at until like, the mid 20s, somewhere about there. And then I think the institutional buyers started coming in. Yeah. And then Elon Musk started doing positive tweets about it. And that took it from that $20,000, $30,000 range. I think that's what, it was the institutional buyers coming in that took it from like 30 to like 60. And so now everyone's afraid and everyone's pulling back. And, there's a whole discussion to have there. But anyways, the point of what I want to stay focused on for this video is that inflation, not only does it come into an economy unequally, it moves from like one asset gets inflated, then it comes up and explodes into money, then that money goes into other assets, and those grow and explode into money, and then that goes into other assets, and you see just these pockets, right? And then eventually that inflationary environment starts to just spread throughout everything.
Yeah, and then eventually tacos are $200 each.
Yep.
And that's going to be a very sad day.
Yep. So all of you guys that are out there that have been following our channel and buying all these old, extremely rare magic cards, I honestly think it's a good idea to just like sit on those. Like, I mean, we're coming into a small pullback right now, but in these inflationary
I think
times,
it's a pretty big pullback.
well, for some cards it is.
Even I've seen some sealed stuff go for less.
Really?
Yeah. Tempest, I think, went for 5,300.
Mm-hmm.
Been a while for that one.
What was it going at before?
7 to 8.
That's a pretty decent sized pullback.
Oh yeah, huge. I was impressed
Yep.
and
Yep.
laughing at the same time
But yeah, anyways, like those rare assets.
because I bid on it. I tried to get it.
So yeah, those rare assets are definitely something to consider, and consider about how that money goes from one thing to the next thing. So the way to play this kind of game is you want to look for something that you think is going to be an asset that will eventually receive inflated money. That like this money is going to trickle down. Like you're watching it, like people are going to buy this eventually, but they haven't yet. And that's the kind of opportunity you want to be looking for in these kinds of times.
Exactly. I think that's the right attitude to take towards any of it. To look for any opportunity.
Yep.
Like, first edition Crucible has tanked a lot.
Yep.
That's because there's a big dump on the market.
Yep.
Which is good.
And the whole Wall Street Silver crowd now, that they're a section of people that were part of the Wall Street Bets group that have kind of broken off of the whole GME and AMC stock investments, and they're now focusing, I'd say correctly, on like the shorted silver market that's massively undervalued. And they've been learning about that story, about what actually exists, and they've been starting to buy not the SLV, PSLV, no. You got to buy the physical. They're learning, and I know.
Let's get physical.
I'm hearing the correct things come out of these guys. They're getting physical, just like with the song.
And the song was all about silver.
Yep, seriously, that's what it was. No. But anyways, yeah, so that is in fact an undervalued asset. Now, of course, nobody knows when that one's eventually going to blow. I mean, people have been saying that one's going to blow apart for like decades now. Maybe
The government is not going to allow that. I guarantee it.
Maybe it is going to happen at some point, and maybe not. But that's the kind of mindset you want to be going for. Look for the undervalued asset that's likely to explode, but that hasn't actually received all that inflationary money yet.
All right, pick one.
Well, I just did. I said silver.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Well, you pick one.
I already did. I said Crucible.
Crucible Worlds?
Yeah, I think that one's going to take off.
Oh, you mean Crucible Flesh and Blood?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't catch which Crucible you were talking about.
Sorry.
Yeah, those did pull back actually, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
They went from like $1,500 a box down to $1,200 a box.
I think they're going to go even lower.
Oh, you think so?
I do.
Okay.
I predict it.
If those do, then that might be a really good thing to pick up. Those
Yeah.
first edition Crucible boxes.
I'm kind of
What do you think
excited
about
about that.
Monarch then?
Monarch's pulling back. They're at 370 now.
That's a pretty decent pullback. They were at
Yeah.
like 600 for a
No,
while.
I think there was at 470. I think that was the high.
No, they got to like 6.
When did they get to 6?
You didn't see Monarch at 6?
I did not.
Dude, Monarch hit 6. It totally did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's pulled back to 370. We'll have to see if it holds steady there.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited.
Yep. So anyways, that's the idea, guys. Just keep looking out.
Connecting to the internet.
Alexa.
First my phone and now Alexa.
Now Amazon wants to get in our video. They're turning on Alexa to talk to us in the middle of our video.
It's
Can
a
you
scam.
believe the gall?
I can't believe they did that. We should charge them advertising dollars.
We should. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably going to be a demonetized video because Alexa turned on. So anyways, guys, that's the advice. Inflation doesn't happen uniformly. It happens in pockets. Look for the undervalued asset that hasn't yet received all that inflationary dollars.
And stock up on tacos. It's going to be bad,
Tacos.
people.
Okay, there you go, guys. Okay, talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.